American forces and their NATO allies withdraw from Afghanistan, Chinese officials are meeting representatives of the Taliban, who they say will play a, quote, important role in Afghanistan's future. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi met the 9-person delegation in the Chinese city of Tianjin. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Chao Li-tian.
Wang Yi pointed out that the Afghan Taliban is a pivotal military and political force in Afghanistan. It's expected to play an important role in peaceful reconciliation and reconstruction in Afghanistan.
Taliban delegations have also visited Iran and Russia in recent weeks. It comes as the group has seized several districts across Afghanistan and reports of escalating attacks on civilians. This was U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on a trip in India Wednesday.
The Taliban says that it seeks international recognition, that it wants international support for Afghanistan. Presumably it wants its leaders to be able to travel freely in the world. Sanctions lifted, etc. Well, the taking over the country by force and abusing the rights of its people is not the path to achieve those objectives. There's only one path, and that's at the negotiating table to resolve the conflict peacefully and to have an Afghanistan emerge that is governed in a genuinely inclusive way and that's representative of all its people.
Afghanistan shares a border with both China and Iran. As the security situation worsens there, peace talks in Qatar's capital have made little progress.
There have been several predictions about the future of Afghanistan as the US troops pull out. One of them is on the verge of coming true. While other countries are trying to deal with the Taliban situation diplomatically, China has already started working on its quote-unquote big plans. Now the Taliban has China to call as their new friend. Let's break down the developments for you. Beijing has welcomed the political Taliban leader Mullah Baradar and his team of delegates. The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi did not just meet with the leader but also hosted a 9-member delegation team. They even posed for a photo op before proceeding for the high-level talks. This is the Taliban's first ever visit to China. China has been quietly attempting to secure its interests in post-US Afghanistan, and this active engagement is being covered under the name of the Belt and Road Initiative. China has been trying to engage with Kabul on the construction of the Peshawar-Kabul motorway. But with America gone, talks will likely expand to more than just economic expansion. Here's what China had to say about this meeting.
The The Afghan Taliban is a crucial military and political force in Afghanistan and is hopeful that they can play an important role in the peace, reconciliation and reconstruction process in Afghanistan. It is hoped that the Afghan Taliban will prioritize the country's and the people's rights and interests, hold high the banner of peace talks, establish the goal of peace, establish a positive image and pursue an inclusive policy. The Afghan Taliban hopes for China's increased participation in the peace and reconstruction process in Afghanistan and can play an even bigger role in the country's future reconstruction and economic development. The Afghan Taliban will also create a favorable investment environment and put its own efforts towards this.
Chinese leaders also took the opportunity to demand something personal from the Taliban. China has asked the terror group to sever all ties with the East Turkestan Islamic movement. The ETIM has been constantly blamed by Beijing for attacks in its far western Xinjiang province. According to reports, the Chinese foreign minister has called the movement a threat to China and further said it is the responsibility of the international community to fight against the ETIM. In a clear expression of geopolitical goals in Central Asia, China has expressed its support for the Taliban's role in Afghanistan's future. The highly conspicuous show of friendliness has had the appearance of a diplomatic mission. This meeting also comes at a time when the Taliban are craving legitimacy. The Taliban increasingly has been reaching out to countries in the region in the expectation of becoming a major player in controlling Afghanistan. And our Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik has travelled to Kabul. He's getting us the latest on this so-called diplomatic meeting.
A 9-member delegation of the Afghan Taliban, headed by its political office chief Mullah Abdul Ghani brother, was in China earlier today, where it has met the Chinese foreign minister. Now, as per the release, the talks were on a range of issues which included matters of quote-unquote mutual interest and bilateral regional security matters as well. As per the Chinese side, their core key interests of ETIM, the Eastern Turkestan Islamic movement, were raised, and it was emphasized on the Afghan Taliban that fighters of ETIM should not be encouraged in the Afghan territory. This is what the Chinese side has maintained to the Afghan Taliban. Additionally, one of the other concerns for Beijing would be connectivity and emphasis on the Afghan Taliban to ensure the fact that Chinese workers are safe. Now, this meeting between the Chinese side and the Afghan Taliban comes after a hiatus of about 2 years. The last such meeting took place in 2019. After that, we've seen Beijing offering to host the intra-Afghan dialogue, but given the backdrop of events that have been taking place regionally, this meeting with a full-scale delegation of the Afghan Political Commission is indeed very, very significant.
The Taliban has said it sees China as a friend of Afghanistan. According to media reports, Taliban has also assured Beijing that it would guarantee security for Chinese investments in the country. The comments came as the Taliban made territorial gains in the war-torn country amid the withdrawal of the U.S. forces. China has already evacuated 210 of its nationals from Afghanistan by a chartered flight this week. Playing down China's concerns, the Taliban spokesperson Suhail Shaheen said they see China as a friend to Afghanistan and is hoping to talk to Beijing about investing in reconstruction work as soon as possible. Shaheen said, and I quote, "We have been to China many times and we have good relations with them. China is a friendly country and we welcome it for reconstruction and developing Afghanistan. If the Chinese have investments, of course, we will ensure their safety." End of quote. While the American troops' withdrawal and resurgence of the Taliban should strategically benefit China, as the Taliban shares close ties with Pakistan, both Islamabad and Beijing are concerned as they faced threats from the Islamic militant groups which were part of Al-Qaeda and Taliban. China has been eyeing big-scale investments in Afghanistan as the country has the world's largest unexploited reserves of copper, coal, iron, gas, cobalt, mercury, gold, lithium, and thorium, valued at over $1 trillion. In 2011, the China National Petroleum Corporation won a $400 million bid to drill 3 oil fields for 25 years, containing roughly 87 million barrels of oil. Chinese funds have also gained rights to mine copper at Mes Ainak in Logar province. Beijing is also concerned that under Taliban rule, Afghanistan will become a hub for the East Pakistan Islamic Movement, or ETIM, a separatist outfit aligned to Al-Qaeda, which is waging an insurgency in Xinjiang. A UN official last month confirmed the presence of several hundred ETIM militants in Badakhshan and neighboring Afghan provinces.
Talks are underway between the top diplomats of China, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. The three-way dialogue, hosted by Beijing, is the fourth of its kind since its launch. Discussions are set to focus on the Afghan peace process. The meeting comes in the wake of a withdrawal of foreign troops from Afghanistan and stalled peace talks with the Taliban and the Afghan government. The United States has set a deadline of September 11th for the pullout of all its forces.
The first round of the China-Afghanistan-Pakistan Foreign Ministers dialogue has been held in Beijing. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi held talks with his Afghan counterpart Salahuddin Rabbani and his Pakistani counterpart Khawaja Muhammad Asif. The three sides discussed issues including political trust and reconciliation, development, cooperation and counter-terrorism. The dialogue mechanism was set up when Wang Yi visited Afghanistan and Pakistan in June this year. Meng Qingsheng tells us more about that.
China is seeking to bring two neighbors closer. Afghan and Pakistani foreign ministers met in Beijing to overcome frictions and secure closer security cooperation. Their Chinese counterpart Wang Yi said this initiative will bring tangible results.
The three parties agreed that on the basis of 5 principles of peaceful coexistence, this dialogue will be taken as an opportunity to increase mutual trust and deepen cooperation. Under the framework of Belt and Road Initiative, 3 countries will work together to promote connectivity as well as shared prosperity and common development.
Afghanistan and Pakistan are subject to frequent terrorist attacks, and they blame each other for that violence. Their bilateral ties have also been strained by border issues, like the Durand Line. Foreign Minister Wang Yi proposed establishing such a trilateral dialogue mechanism in June this year when he visited Afghanistan and Pakistan to carry out shuttle diplomacy. Ministers here have agreed that this initiative will serve as a platform for enhancing cooperation and dialogue among the 3 countries. As an outcome of this dialogue, the ministers agreed to promote an Afghan-led and Afghan-owned peace and reconstruction process involving the Taliban. They also pledged to cooperate in a range of fields like the economy, military, intelligence and refugees.
We appreciate China's sincere support to Afghanistan's sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity, as well as our peace and development efforts. I would also like to express profound gratitude to China for the generous assistance to our reconstruction efforts in the past 15 years.
By the end of 2014, NATO forces will withdraw from Afghanistan, a neighbor of China. The move is likely to add more pressure to China's western frontiers. As Han Peng reports, Chinese soldiers are doing everything they can to prevent terrorist infiltration.
Defending the gate to Xinjiang. These soldiers are on a regular patrol of one of China's most dangerous borders. At an altitude of over 5,000 meters, snowstorms can just about bury a patrol, even in summer. Oxygen is less than 50% at sea level. Even breathing becomes a battle. This rugged, spectacular terrain is a no-man's zone. This is where Chinese soldiers stand on never-ending guard against jihad terrorists. This sensitive area marks the confluence of borders shared by China, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. In the post-NATO era, no one is sure if Afghan government can handle the situation on its own.
The withdrawal of NATO forces is already set in motion, but many terror organizations in Afghanistan are still entrenched in mountainous areas, some with huge numbers of terrorists. They not only fight in person, but also use internet to propagate jihad and teach people to kill. They also smuggle opium into neighboring countries to fund their activities.